Well, pull up a chair or put your headsets on if you need to do so, because what I'm about to lay out for you is not gossip. It's not tabloid chatter. It's an analysis, a thesis, a case built on facts. Facts. Facts on evidence. And I'll be honest with you, on something that, well, really hit me personally when I was doing my research and putting this together. The question on the table today is simple. 4 words, really. Why do they hate her? And when I say her, you know who I mean, right? Meghan Sussex, the Duchess of Sussex, the woman who, by every measurable standard, has done nothing to deserve the volume, the venom, or the coordinated cruelty directed at her. And yet, here we are. So, let's get into it. Welcome. This is Majesty Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time here with us. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for sticking around. I want to start with a very specific moment that happened recently. Harry and Meghan, Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, celebrated their 8-year wedding anniversary. 8 years. And to mark it, Prince Harry gifted her a bronze sculpture of 2 penguins. Sweet, right? Intimate, personal, a private gesture made public. Now, here is how Sky News Australia chose to cover that moment. Their headline, "Everyone got a spew bucket." That was the headline. Let's let that sit for a second or two with you. A major news network, a channel with millions of viewers across the globe. I don't know why they watch it, but oh well. Looked at a couple celebrating 8 years of marriage, and their editorial response was, "Anyone got a spew bucket." This is not a fringe comment section. This is not an anonymous troll account with stolen profile picture. It is a broadcast media outlet functioning as a business, choosing to point its entire platform at a woman's anniversary and say, "This deserves our contempt." Oh, yes, it does, doesn't it? Now, I could stop right here and we could just talk about how grotesque that is. But I'm not interested in the obvious. What I want to know is why. Why? What is the engine driving this? What is the psychology underneath it all? What does it tell us about the people producing it, consuming it, and most importantly, what does it tell us about her? Because here is what I've come to understand very, very clearly. You don't build a machine this large to destroy one person, to destroy someone who doesn't matter. Think about it. Really. So let's talk about scale for a moment. Okay? Because I think sometimes we throw around words like trolling and hate, and they sort of lose their weight, really. So in 2019, while Meghan Sussex was still a working royal under the institution, still attending engagements, still smiling on balconies, a monitoring organization informed her that she was, at that time, the most trolled person in the entire world, man or woman. Not a politician, not a controversial world leader, not a convicted criminal. If you remember that Jeremy Who said that he hated her more than a convicted criminal. A woman who had joined a royal family, the most trolled person on this blue planet of ours. Now, here's where it gets darker. That same year, Meghan told the palace, she told the institution that she was having thoughts of unaliving herself, that she needed help, that she needed inpatient support. And the palace told her, I mean, they were so great, weren't they? They told her, and I want you to really, really hear this clearly, that getting help for her wouldn't be good for the institution. Now, they didn't say, oh, Mom, we're terribly worried about you. Oh, Duchess, let's get you what you need. They said instead, this would be bad for us. Her passport was taken, her driver's license was taken, her keys, her autonomy stripped, and the bullying from outside the palace walls continued without intervention, without protection, without a single public statement of support. Not the king, not the king to be, no one, no one, not a single person, not one of them. The goal, whether it was conscious or not, was to break her, have her on her knees. And she didn't break. She didn't break. And I genuinely think this, that is a large part of what drives the hatred we see today. But we're going to come back to this one of the reasons, the theory. Because first, I need to talk about the forces that created this environment. Because there isn't just one reason they hate her. They are many. So, I'm running it off to about 5 that I would like to, talk about a little bit. And they all feed each other. They feed into each other. It's like, the sign, the recycle sign, that exact thing. The British monarchy is, by design and by history, one of the most deliberately white institutions ever constructed. Its pageantry, its succession, its visual language, its, mythology, all of it has been built on the projection of whiteness as destiny, as order, as rightness, as what's correct and beauty in this world. Now, into that institution walks a Black biracial woman from California. A woman with a black mother and a white father. A woman who is beautiful, educated, accomplished, and, well, frankly, charming. And who captures the heart of the most eligible, let me see that again, eligible, most romanticized prince in that institution's modern history. People thought it was, well, the heir. Oh, yes, the future gang. No, my dearest. No, 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 no. You see, it was the redhead, the ginger, the rebellious one, the one who many, 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 many said, that's the bad boy. And we know the attraction that bad boys have. At least I'm told. That is not just a love story, right? To a certain kind of person, to a certain kind of worldview, that is a violation. Let me repeat that. A violation. Photographer and activist, friends of the Sussexes, Misan Harriman, said it plainly. He said Meghan had become, and I quote, a legitimate target for people to express their racism. Not a secret target, not a quiet one, a legitimate one. Because the media had given permission. The institution had given permission. The silence had given permission. And so the racism that could not be spoken plainly and outwardly, the discomfort that could not be named, got dressed up. You know, that thing, well, I don't know why, but there's something about her. I really don't know. You know, I've got nothing against her, but I don't concern myself about those things. Rather, but you know, there's a thing about her. There's a feeling about her. It got dressed up as concern about her authenticity, about her ambition, about whether she was really a charitable person as she claims to be. Whether she was really as emotional as she seemed, whether her tears were real or just those of an actress, a gold digger. They questioned her grief, they questioned her joy, they questioned her baby bump, they fact-checked her clothing choices against some invented standard of royal appropriateness. Was she wearing the right stockings? Was she wearing the right nail polish? Did she stand correctly? Did she close her own door? God forsake us. Every single thing, every single day. And here is the tell. They didn't do it to anyone else. To anyone else at that same scale. They never do. And that's not a coincidence. That is a pattern. Remember, I'm always looking for patterns. Always. And patterns tell the truth, even when people will not. When Prince Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties, the media had a choice about how to frame it. They could have said, a man looked at an institution that was actively harming his wife and chose to protect his family. Instead, the overwhelming narrative became, she manipulated him. Oh yes, you know those colored people. They work that voodoo thing. Mm-hmm. She lured him. She trapped him. She turned him against his family. She is a scheming American actress who performed love to gain access to a crown. Oh, yes, yes, yes. She performed, you know what I mean. We can call it love, but love it ain't. All she wanted was to gain that access. Now, Harry, a grown man, a military veteran, a man who, by his own words, his own account, had been deeply unhappy within the institution long before he ever met Meghan. He was cast as naive, as, oh, innocent, this poor innocent boy, robbed of his destiny by a predatory black biracial woman. This is not new. This narrative is so tired and ancient. It is amazing how humans never learn, do they? At least the stupid ones don't. They never do. It is the narrative used against every woman who has ever been blamed for the choices of a powerful man. It is Eve and the apple. It is Anne Boleyn. It is Yoko Ono. It is a story a certain kind of culture defaults to when it cannot accept that a man, especially a celebrated, beloved white man, made a deliberate, autonomous choice. Because if Harry chose to leave, really chose it, with full awareness, then the institution is the problem. The media is the problem. The culture is the problem. And that is an indictment that too many people have a financial and emotional investment in avoiding. So they made her the villain. It is simpler for simple minds. It is safer for those who want to keep their position and authority. And it sells because it confirms their bias. It confirms their racism. Hey, but we're not racist at all. None of us are. We are in a nation that does not recognize such vulgarity. Racism.
The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle! Let's just hope that goose isn't on the menu for the new season of MasterChef, because Meghan Markle has cooked it. Yes, she will appear in Series 18 or Season 18 of the Home Cook reality TV show when it airs on Channel 10 later in the month. How do we know this? Well, just as Prince Harry was finishing a spectacular day, reminding us why royals and royally adjacent personalities can do so much good in the community, where he drew attention to things like community sport, mental health, fatherhood, parenthood, and then he went down to Canberra and he told us all about the great things that Invictus does. He met with Indigenous veterans. He gave a speech at the Australian War Memorial. He laid a wreath, all of that delicious stuff that we have come to love from Prince Harry in years gone by. Well, that was kind of thrown out the window when a press release lodged just before the 6 p.m. news on Wednesday, announcing that the Duchess of Sussex, the lifestyle entrepreneur and the mother of two and the wife of Prince Harry, will be starring as a guest judge on the 18th season of MasterChef. And thus just reminding us that this whirlwind 4-day tour, this non-royal tour, is actually about platitudes for profits.
Now, this is the part of the analysis I want to sit with the longest, because this is the part that hit me in some ways. The hardest when I was going through this material, right? Some of you may laugh, but after all, I am a guy, so sometimes things don't hit me until a certain time, right? In his memoir, Spare, Prince Harry declares the first time he ever saw Meghan Sussex, he was, just sort of scrolling through Instagram. A friend had posted a video, and in that video, there was a woman. And Harry writes, and I'm going to read this to you directly because I don't want to paraphrase something this precise. All right? So ready? Here we go. For 32 years, I'd watched a conveyor belt of faces pass by, and only a handful. Actually, you know what? Why don't we hear him say it? Let him say it.
For 32 years, I'd watched a conveyor belt of faces pass by, and only a handful ever made me look twice. This woman stopped the conveyor belt. This woman smashed the conveyor belt to bits. I'd never seen anyone so beautiful. Why should beauty feel like a punch in the throat? There was an energy about her, a wild joy and playfulness. There was something in the way she smiled, the way she interacted with Violet, the way she gazed into the camera. Confident, free. She believed life was one grand adventure. I could see that. What a privilege it would be, I thought, to join her on that journey. I got all of that from her face, her luminous, angelic face. I'd never had a firm opinion on that burning question, is there just one person on this earth for each of us? But in that moment, I felt there might be only one face for me. This one.
I want you to think about who is doing the loudest, most sustained, most furious hating of Meghan Sussex. Okay, you ready? You sure that's your answer? You've got it locked in, right? Okay, I hope you've got it locked in, because if you get this wrong, so you better not. Predominantly women. And I hope you got this right also, what type of women. Predominantly middle-aged women. And there we go. Predominantly white women. Women with partners. Women with husbands. Women in relationships. If you recall, a little while ago, I did in one of the episodes of the podcast where this woman, she had basically destroyed her marriage completely. Completely. All based on hatred, her hate for Meghan Sussex, a woman she's never met, a woman she will never meet. Her entire life, she has destroyed her marriage. She does not have custody to her daughter. All because of hatred. Do you see the power of that? Do you hear what I'm saying? Can you hear me? Is anyone out there listening to me? She destroyed her entire marriage, her family, based on her hatred of Meghan Sussex. What is that? What exactly is that? It brings me back also to when Toni Morrison, the author, when she said that these white women had lost their humanity. When they decided, even before that, to throw these mock cocktails, these bombs, to light a school bus filled with little black boys and girls in it, to burn it down, to burn them alive. And these were women with children. They knew what it was to be a mother that lost their humanity because the hatred was so powerful within them. This woman lost her family because of the hate of Meghan Sussex. Can you believe that? Can you hear me? Can you believe it? Now, I want you to ask a quiet, honest question. How many of those women have ever been seen that way? The way Prince Harry described in his memoir, Spare. How many of them do you think have ever heard a man, their husbands, their boyfriends, their partners, say those exact similar feelings and words to them? Or see them through those eyes? How many of them have a partner who looks at them the way Harry describes looking at Meghan? Who would describe them with that kind of reverence, that kind of awe? What a privilege it would be, he says, to join her on that journey. Are you listening to me? He said, what a privilege it would be to join her on that journey. That's what he said. His voice said it, his words. Those are his words. That language, that feeling, that quality of being truly, deeply, overwhelmingly seen by someone who had access to the entire world and still chose you. Baby Jesus. I'm telling you, this could make me cry right now. Could make me weep. Weep. How many of them? How many? That language, that feeling. So deeply, so thoughtfully. And this man has access to every single person in the world, every type of woman, any woman. And he chose her. He chose her. How many of them have that? And here is the layer on top of it that makes it unbearable for a certain psychology, okay? Unbearable. It's not just any man saying it. It's Prince Harry, the bad boy of the British monarchy, the most romanticized bachelor of a generation, the ginger red-haired rebel prince that half of Britain was in love with. And he looked at the entire world. He said it, literally. He says he had traveled every continent, met hundreds of thousands of people, and he said, this woman, she stopped everything. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? This woman, she stopped everything. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, And she is black. She is biracial. She is American. She is an actress. She's an intelligent woman. She is an accomplished woman. She is everything that a certain cultural script said was not supposed to win. Did you hear me? Are you listening to me? And she won. She won completely, utterly, in the most romantic terms imaginable, my friends. She gagne, gano, she won. That is not just jealousy. That is the specific, searing fury of someone who has been told their whole life that the prize goes to people like them. Like them. Now, I'm no Meghan Sussex, okay? But oh, baby Jesus, do I know what I'm talking about, okay? Do I know? Because this doesn't only manifest itself in a romantic way. It manifests itself at work. It manifests in the way people will deal with you. And then watching it go somewhere else entirely, watching the oldest, whitest, most exclusive institution in the world open its heart to a woman who was never supposed to be there. Never. And instead of doing the inner work to understand that feeling, instead of sitting with it honestly, they aimed it at her, directly at her, because it is easier to destroy the thing you cannot have than to mourn it quietly.
Mike Tyndall is right. England, you do miss the old Prince Harry. You miss the reckless, always under the influence, fighting, a mess. Third wheel to Will and Kate, you miss that Prince Harry, don't you? Because that Prince Harry represented what a lot of you were and still are. You haven't grown. You're stuck. You see a man who said, I am going to do better, not just for myself, but for the woman that I love, because I don't want to lose her. So, after already cleaning himself up, he sought more therapy. He started encouraging other men to do the same so that they can be better husbands, brothers, sons, just overall people in life. He called out his racism in the past and even spoke about how that is detrimental still to this day. And you all beat him up for that. You hate that he loves her. You hate that he loves this woman who is not white, who is not British. You fucking hate it. Well, too bad. Mike Tyndall is exactly the man that you all deserve, and quite frankly, you need. You need this arrested development. You need this pighead behavior. You need this nasty ass man who cheats on his wife and makes a mockery out of everything you all claimed Meghan made a mockery out of. You got the people you deserve. Leave Prince Harry alone. He's too good for you. Bye.
And a large part of it for the family, but also the British press and numerous other people, is like, he's changed. She must be a witch. He's changed. As opposed to, yeah, I did change. And I'm really glad I changed. Because rather than getting drunk, falling out of clubs, taking drugs, I've now found the love of my life. And I now have the opportunity to start a family with her.
You all good? Everyone good? Everyone still here? Still okay? Still with me? All right, good. Well, at least most of you are still here, still with me, right? Good. Because I need to be very clear about something. Because I'm sure there's some of you going, but Antonio, nah, I'm not done. The hostility towards Meghan Sussex is not just emotional. It is structural and it is profitable. Because we all say it, money, money, money. Hey, my money, da 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 da. Right? Money makes the world go around. And sometimes there are people who don't even care. Can I make money off of it? Well, let's do it. So it's structural also. And it is profitable, my friends. Oh, how is it profitable? Meghan hatred is a business model. Outrage drives engagement, engagement drives clicks, and clicks drive advertising revenue. The more a media outlet can keep its audience in a sustained state of contempt, of anger, of hatred, the more they can train people to reach for their phones to see what she's done now. The more money they make. Because when a woman stands in Geneva and talks about children unaliving themselves, and all you can see is, oh well, there weren't anyone there listening to her. Oh, no one showed up at all to listen to her. Oh, what is she saying again? Verbal word diarrhea, whatever it is that she's saying, because it's all purpose nonsense. Well, you know what I heard? I heard that she went there because the divorce is quite imminent, you know. It's quite imminent. Yeah. When that is what you hear, what you see, the more money they make. This is why Sky News Australia, a channel that covers wars, elections, and global crisis, decides regular airtime or decides to dedicate so much of their regular airtime to mocking a bronze penguin sculpture on someone's anniversary. This is why even legitimate, serious, important work gets diminished. Right? And let me come back to this Geneva speech. Because there she was, stood before the World Health Organization, World Health Assembly, and delivered a speech about children being algorithmically pushed towards self-harm content online. She spoke about a girl named Katie, athletic, joyful, who went online looking for healthy recipes and was instead fed body dysmorphia content and pro-anorexia videos until she was hospitalized with a severe eating disorder. She spoke about Mason, a kind teenage boy who went online. This stuff always hits me, man. Went online after a breakup looking for words of encouragement in a vulnerable state. And instead, the platform preyed upon his pain and showed him how to unalive himself, and he did. He did. She spoke of England, a 14-year-old girl who had a pizza and movie night with her parents. asked her mom for a phone charger before bed. And in the early hours of the morning, her mother found her. Found her daughter had taken her life. The platform that pushed detailed instructions to her fed showing her exactly how to do it. Oh man, sorry. This stuff. You know, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan said, children are no longer just participants in digital spaces. They are too often the product. Because when they tick the box and sign the terms and conditions, they don't realize they may actually be signing away their life. That is not a celebrity appearance. That is not someone chasing relevance. That is a woman who nearly died at the hands of the internet, standing at the United Nations and fighting to protect children from the same system that almost destroyed her. And they have the audacity in these moronic, idiotic, stupid people. Celebrate. Cheer, they smile, like. And they have their panels. So pathetic. Not many people showed up. That's the coverage. Not the children, not the memorial, not the policy. Nobody came. Look at her. Nobody showed up. Except it wasn't a concert, my friends. It wasn't some concert. It was the unveiling of an installation. The Lost Screen Memorial. 50 images of children lost to online harm. It wasn't supposed to be a stadium event. But that didn't matter because the story was never about the children. The story was, as it always is, about finding a new way to make her smaller. That is the machine. And the machine has one setting: diminish her. Well, now we have arrived to what I believe is the deepest current running beneath all of this. Meghan Sussex was the most trolled person on earth, perhaps still is. She asked for help and was denied it. She was isolated, surveilled, stripped of her autonomy, and left to absorb a level of public cruelty that most human beings would not survive intact. The campaign against her had a goal, whether that goal was spoken or unspoken, conscious or not. The goal was to break her, to make her small enough, wounded enough, silent enough that she would stop being a problem. And then she left. And then she built a life. And then she stood at the World Health Assembly, composed, eloquent, precise, and spoke about children being pushed to unaliven themselves by online platforms, using her own survival as a credential, as a witness, as not performance. as evidence that the thing she was describing is real because she lived it at scale as the most targeted person on the planet. That survival is what they cannot stand. They cannot stand it. Because as long as she is broken, as long as she's broken, as long as she is silent or diminished or small, the story is under control. The institution is safe, the media is safe, the cultural order is safe. They spent an entire year, didn't say pio about the institution, about those in it, and still every single day, they spoke about her, they wrote about her. Every single day. But a Meghan Sussex who is striving, who is speaking, who is living her best life, who is standing at the UN with Dr. Tedros and being received with respect and attention. My dear, who has a husband who describes her as the woman who stopped the conveyor belt of the entire world. That woman is not containable. Do you hear me? That woman is not containable. And an uncontainable woman, especially a black biracial one, especially a black woman in a white space, my friends, who was supposed to be broken, is the most threatening thing that a certain kind of power structure has ever encountered. Ever encountered. So they keep going. They keep mocking the penguins. They count the empty chairs. They'll ask for this spew bucket. They'll find something new tomorrow. Because the alternative, acknowledging that the campaign failed, that she survived, that she is flourishing, and that their hatred says far more about them than it ever said about her, is simply not something they are willing to do. Here's my closing argument, as much as I am able to do a closing argument on this for now. And I want you to hold this thought, right? Meghan Sussex stood at a memorial for children who were bullied to death by the internet. Children who were pushed algorithmically, systematically, relentlessly towards self-harm, towards despair, towards the ends of their own lives. And she said,
because if an adult is barely able to survive the bullying and predation of the online world and the dangers that these platforms bring, how is a child?
She was talking about herself. She was the adult who barely survived, the most trolled person on earth, the woman who sat in a palace and told people she wanted to end her life and was told to be quiet because it wasn't good for the brand. And the media that mocked her presence at that memorial, the outlets that count the empty chairs, that write the spew bucket headlines, that reduced the loss screen memorial to a PR stunt. They are part of the system she is indicting. They are not covering the story. They are the story. And Meghan Sussex, elegant, alive, articulate, standing at the World Health Assembly with her name and her voice and her face fully intact. Is the living proof that the story does not end the way they planned. So, why do they hate her? Because she's Black in a white space, because she's loved in a way that exposes what others lack, because she refused the narrative they wrote for her, because the institution tried to break her and she walked out whole, because she is eloquent and beautiful and passionate and precise. And she is using every single one of those gifts publicly for other people in rooms where her name carries weight, because she survived. And survival, when you are supposed to disappear, is the most revolutionary act of all. And my beautiful people, this is it. That is my thesis. That is my argument. Here we are. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I hope that you've learned something. And if you already knew all of this, I hope that I've put it in a way or form that is convincing and sort of illustrates what has been happening. I mean, there are many more factors, of course, because it's never just 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 things. There's always many, many factors. But these are the ones that I thought, are sort of the most powerful ones. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Thank you for your wonderful, generous support. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for being in the clouds. Thank you for being in the replay and listening to this or watching it. Do repost it or forward it to someone who you think might enjoy it, right? Or someone who might be able to learn from all of this. You are an incredible bunch, I tell you. And my love for each and every one of you could not be greater, even though sometimes you do surprise me and it becomes even greater. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean that very, 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 very much. Stick around. I did write a song for this episode, and I hope you enjoy it. The song will be available also on Bandcamp. And I think what I'll do for Bandcamp, I will have 3 versions of the song. And we'll price it at a reasonable price. Thank you, Joan Garcia. Thank you so much for heading over to Bandcamp and for purchasing the music that you did. Much appreciated. Thank you to each and every one of you who have sent your super chats and all of that by supporting the channel financially, and of course to all of you subscribers and to the Royal Court. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next episode, I will mention each and every one of you that have donated to the channel properly. So, with that, I say, be kind to yourself, be kind to your loved ones, and to that stranger crossing your path, be kind to them. You never know. Thank you so very much. May God bless each and every one of you. Stick around for the song until we speak again. Bye for now. Mwah.
said was never built for her. She carried grace and beauty through a world that tried to blur her name, her voice, her story, every headline carved in stone. But she stood inside the fire, and she never stood alone. They counted empty chairs, they sharpened every word like knives. They measured all her tears while she was fighting for her life. But she survived, oh, she survived. When they built the walls around her, she rose up to the sky. She survived, oh, she survived. They try to break the light inside her, but you can't put out a fire when it burns that bright. She survived. He saw her on a screen one day, and time just stopped to breathe. Said she smashed the conveyor belt, the one so meant for me. Loved her like a privilege, like an answer to a prayer. And a million hearts were shattered by the beauty of that stare. They called it manipulation, they dress their envy up as truth. But a man who sees you clearly is a mirror they can't use. And she survived, oh, she survived. She survived when they tried to write her ending. She rewrote every line. She survived, oh, she survived. Yeah, she survived. They handed her the darkness, but she turned it into light. She survived. For every child who logged on and never made it home. For every man on that road who didn't die alone. She stood inside them. Our children are not products, and they're not experiments. They will not be expendable. And the world stood still. She survived, oh, she survived. They built a machine to break her, but she rose above the tide. She survived, oh, she survived. She survived, beautiful, unbreakable. She stood inside their storm and came out on the other side. She survived. You can't silence what was never meant to be quiet. You can't dim a light that God already lit. She survived. She survived. She survived.